Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, I bring to you a message that is both urgent and timeless. We live in a world where roles have become blurred, identities confused, and the sacred institution of marriage under attack. Many homes are crumbling because men cannot discern between a true wife and a deceptive spirit. Many women are losing themselves because they are torn between godly virtue and worldly manipulation. A wife is a gift from God. A witch is a distraction from the enemy. A wife builds, nurtures, and establishes a legacy. A witch controls, deceives, and ultimately destroys. The difference between the two is not in outward beauty, but in inner character. A wife understands the power of submission, not as weakness, but as a strength under the divine order. She does not compete with her husband, she completes him. Her words bring peace, her presence brings stability, but a witch, a witch is subtle. She does not come with a broomstick and a pointed hat. She comes with a manipulative spirit, a controlling attitude, and a divisive heart. She twists truth to fit her desires and plays the role of a wife while working against the very foundation of marriage. The Bible says, "A wise woman builds her house, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands." Proverbs 14:1. My brothers, if you are seeking a wife, seek wisdom. Do not be deceived by beauty without character, or charm without integrity. A woman's true power is not in her appearance, but in her ability to create, nurture, and sustain what God has entrusted to her. And my sisters, if you are to be a wife, be a woman of grace, wisdom, and virtue. Do not let the world redefine your role. You are not here to manipulate, but to influence. You are not here to control, but to uplift. You are not here to fight against your husband, but to fight for your marriage. The essence of a wife versus the influence of a witch can be understood when we examine the underlying principles of their nature, roles, and impact. A wife is a source of life, creation, and nurturance, designed to partner with her husband in building a family and home that reflects the goodness and order of God. She is a foundation, a builder of legacy, and a protector of peace. In contrast, a witch is not concerned with nurturing or building. Her purpose is self-serving and destructive. A witch operates in manipulation, seeking to control situations, relationships, and outcomes to meet her own desires, often at the expense of those around her. While a wife seeks to support and strengthen her husband and children, a witch uses her influence to break down, deceive, and ultimately a wife, at her core, understands the power of submission. Not in a passive, subservient way, but in alignment with a divine purpose. She understands that submission is not weakness, but strength. It is the strength that comes from trusting in God's divine order, where her role complements and supports her husband's role. This type of submission is built on mutual respect, love, and purpose. She does not submit because she is less than or inferior to her husband, but because she understands her place in the grand design of God, where man and woman work together to fulfill their purpose on earth. The wife submits willingly, knowing that her submission contributes to the harmony of the relationship, and she trusts her husband's leadership, supporting him as he leads with wisdom, love, and responsibility. Her submission is not out of fear or manipulation, but as a divine response to her role as a helpmeet, working alongside him for the greater good of their family and marriage. On the other hand, a witch operates under a spirit of rebellion. Rebellion is the opposite of submission. It is the desire to take control, to challenge authority, and to do things on one's own terms. A witch is not concerned with divine order. She is more interested in manipulating others to fulfill her personal agenda. While the wife submits out of love and respect, the witch's submission is conditional and rooted in self-interest. A witch's spirit is marked by division, not unity. She seeks to create chaos, to stir up conflict, and to manipulate others to achieve her goals. Rather than working with others to build, a witch works to undermine, to break down relationships, and to destroy any sense of harmony or peace. This is where the power of words comes into play. The wife's words are words of encouragement, life, and wisdom. She speaks to uplift, to heal, and to inspire. Her words are carefully chosen to create peace in her home, to help her husband become the man God created him to be, and to raise her children in the way they should go. Her words carry the weight of love, wisdom, and grace. They are a balm to wounds, a light in dark places, and a source of encouragement in difficult times. She speaks life over her family, and in doing so, she strengthens the bond between them. In contrast, the words of a witch are often sharp, divisive, and destructive. A witch's words seek to divide, to manipulate, and to control. She may speak in half-truths, using deception to sway others to her way of thinking. Her words can plant seeds of doubt, confusion, and anger in the hearts of those around her. Where the wife's words heal, the witch's words wound. Where the wife's words unite, the witch's words divide. A witch understands the power of words, but instead of using that power to build, she uses it to tear down. A wife is a woman who understands her role in the larger story of creation. She understands that she was created to be a helper and partner to her husband, to walk beside him and to bear fruit together. She doesn't seek to be the head, but she plays a critical and irreplaceable role in the success of their shared mission. Her actions reflect her understanding of the sacredness of marriage and family, and she actively works to make her home a place of love, peace, and stability. She pours into her marriage, invests in her husband's success, and strives to create an environment where her children can thrive. A wife sees her role as one of service, not to diminish herself, but to fulfill the divine purpose for which she was created. A witch, on the other hand, may appear to serve, but her service is rooted in selfishness. A witch's actions are driven by a need for control and manipulation. Rather than working for the well-being of her family or community, she seeks only her own benefit. She may act as though she is serving, but in reality, she is seeking to gain power over others. This selfishness leads to division, not unity. She may tear down her husband's dreams, undermine his efforts, or manipulate her children to get what she wants. A witch's focus is always on herself, on what she can get from others rather than what she can give. In every aspect, the wife and the witch are polar opposites. The wife is a builder, the witch a destroyer. The wife submits in love, the witch rebels in self-interest. The wife speaks life, the witch speaks death. The wife serves with joy, the witch manipulates with greed. The wife brings peace, the witch brings conflict. One brings light, the other brings darkness. The difference between the two is stark and clear, and understanding this distinction is vital for anyone who desires to live in alignment with God's purpose for marriage and family. A wife and a witch differ greatly when it comes to their respective approaches to submission, a key aspect in understanding their roles in the context of a marriage or relationship. Submission, in the context of a wife, is not about submission to a man in the sense of inferiority or weakness, but rather a position of strength under divine order. The wife submits to her husband because she understands the purpose of her role and the harmony that comes from walking in alignment with that purpose. Submission in this context reflects a spirit of cooperation, understanding, and love. It is not driven by fear, manipulation, or control, but by a willingness to respect and honor her husband's leadership, as well as her commitment to their shared life and goals. A wife's submission is a reflection of her understanding of God's design for marriage. It is a conscious choice to honor the divine order, where each partner plays a unique and complementary role. She submits not because she is inferior, but because she recognizes that in submitting, she is embracing the unique and vital purpose God has created for her. In a marriage, both partners have roles that work together to strengthen the union, and the wife's submission is an active decision to work in partnership with her husband to achieve their common purpose. This submission is done freely and willingly, not under duress or coercion. A wife submits because she believes in her husband's leadership, trusts him to guide the family, and knows that together they can accomplish their shared goals. However, submission does not mean that a wife becomes voiceless or powerless. On the contrary, a wife's submission is not the absence of strength, but the presence of wisdom. A wife is meant to be a helpmeet to her husband, offering her insight, wisdom, and counsel when needed. She submits because she understands that in doing so, she is not losing her identity, but rather fulfilling it. She knows that her role is crucial to the success of their marriage and family, and her submission allows her to align herself with a higher purpose, one that transcends individual desires and brings about unity and peace in the home. In contrast, a witch operates in direct opposition to the spirit of submission. A witch's submission, if it can be called submission, is conditional and rooted in manipulation. A witch does not submit out of respect, love, or trust, but out of a desire to control the situation and those around her. She submits only when it serves her purpose, and once her objectives are met, she quickly moves into a position of dominance. A witch is not interested in mutual partnership or cooperation, but in using submission as a tool to manipulate and control others. The witch does not respect authority or divine order. Instead, she seeks to challenge and rebel against it, attempting to usurp the roles and authority established by God. Where a wife submits out of love and respect, the witch submits out of self-interest, knowing that she can gain something by appearing compliant. She will play the role of the docile wife if it helps her achieve her goal, but it is always for selfish reasons. A witch seeks to manipulate the situation to her advantage, bending others to her will, often using charm, deceit, or emotional manipulation. She has no genuine desire for partnership or mutual growth. Instead, her submission is a mere tactic to gain power and control. A witch's submission is not rooted in trust or respect, but in the desire to impose her will. she will manipulate her partner, twist the truth, and break down the very trust that is necessary for a healthy relationship. Her spirit of rebellion extends beyond submission. It permeates every part of her being. A witch is constantly seeking ways to exert control and disrupt peace. She will never truly cooperate or work with others in a spirit of unity. Instead, she undermines and distorts, always positioning herself as the one who must hold the reins. Furthermore, the witch does not recognize divine order or the sanctity of the roles within a marriage. She is more concerned with her own agenda than with the harmony that comes from aligning with God's design. Her rebellion leads to division, confusion, and strife. She will constantly challenge her husband's authority, disregard his wisdom, and seek to impose her own will on the relationship. In this way, the witch's submission is deceptive. She submits only when it benefits her, and when her true motives are revealed, it becomes clear that she has never truly respected the roles or the leadership of her husband. Harmonicus, chapters 1, verses 3 through 4. A wife, on the other hand, understands that submission is not a burden but a blessing. It is a divine principle that brings order, peace, and purpose to a relationship. It strengthens the bond between her and her husband, allowing them to work together in mutual respect and love. A wife's submission is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of strength under God's design. She knows that in submitting to her husband, she is aligning herself with a higher purpose, one that will bring glory to God and blessing to her family. A wife's submission is an active and intentional choice to honor her husband's leadership and to create a harmonious and loving home. It is a submission that is rooted in love, trust, and respect, and it brings forth fruit in the form of unity, peace, and growth. In contrast, the witch's submission is a tool for manipulation, control, and division. Her submission is a facade, a mere tactic to get what she wants, and it ultimately leads to destruction and chaos. The spirit of submission in a wife reflects her trust in God's design for marriage, while the witch's submission is a rebellion against that design. Understanding this difference is crucial for recognizing the roles and dynamics within relationships, and for building a home where love, peace, and respect can flourish. Words have incredible power, especially within the context of marriage and relationships. The power of a wife's words is not to be underestimated, for she has the ability to shape, mold, and influence the environment of her home through the things she speaks. A wife who understands her role will use her words to build up, encourage, and strengthen her family. Her words carry weight, and she chooses them carefully, knowing that the life or death of her relationships may hinge on what she says. A wife who speaks words of life, words of affirmation, encouragement, wisdom, and love, creates an atmosphere of peace, unity, and growth. Her words foster an environment where her husband feels supported and empowered, where her children feel loved and secure, and where her home becomes a place of stability and strength. When a wife speaks, her words are meant to uplift and inspire those around her. Her words do not bring harm, they bring healing. Her conversations with her husband are marked by tenderness, respect, and support. She speaks life into his dreams, encouraging him to pursue his purpose with confidence and strength. Her words are affirming, reminding him of his worth and capability, and helping him to stay focused on the goals they are working toward together. A wife's words are not just casual remarks. They are intentional. She is keenly aware of how her words affect the emotional and spiritual climate of her home. So she speaks life into the lives of her family members. With her children, the wife's words are just as powerful. She speaks wisdom into their hearts, teaching them how to navigate the world with integrity, kindness, and strength. She nurtures their sense of self-worth and guides them with encouragement and love. A wife knows that her words can be a source of comfort in times of difficulty, offering hope when her children are unsure or struggling. Her words are a steadying force, reminding her family of the love and unity they share. Through her words, she nurtures a sense of belonging, helping her children understand their purpose and value in the family and in the world. In contrast, the words of a witch are often divisive, destructive, and harmful. A witch understands the power of words, but instead of using that power to build, she uses it to tear down. Her words are carefully chosen to cause division, confusion, and strife. A witch will use her words to manipulate, deceive, and control those around her. Where a wife speaks words of life and encouragement, the witch speaks words of death, planting seeds of doubt, insecurity, and fear. A witch does not care for the emotional or spiritual well-being of her family or loved ones. Her words are selfish and self-serving, designed to manipulate people into doing her bidding, rather than to inspire growth or healing. The witch's words often create an atmosphere of tension and conflict. Instead of speaking life, she speaks death. Her words cut deep, sowing discord between her husband and herself, or between her and her children. She may use hurtful words, criticisms, and accusations to undermine the stability of her home. Rather than offering encouragement and support, she seeks to tear down the people around her in order to maintain control or assert dominance. A witch uses her words to weaken others, to make them question themselves, and to stir up division. Instead of using her words to bring peace and unity, she uses them to foster discord and dissonance. Where a wife's words bring healing, a witch's words wound. Her words are like a sharp knife, cutting to the heart, with little regard for the pain they cause. A witch may speak in a way that seems caring on the surface, but underneath lies the intent to manipulate and control. She may use sweet, deceptive words to conceal her true motives, making those around her believe that she has their best interests at heart when, in reality, she is only interested in furthering her own agenda. A witch knows how to use words to get what she wants, and she is willing to cause emotional harm to others in the process. This difference in how words are used, whether to build up or tear down, reveals the heart of the person speaking. A wife who speaks words of life is motivated by love, respect, and a desire to nurture the relationships she values. She wants to see her husband and children succeed, and she knows that her words have the power to encourage them on their journey. She uses her words as a tool to create harmony and peace, to reinforce her support for those she loves, and to help them become the best versions of themselves. She is intentional in the way she speaks, choosing words that will inspire and uplift, rather than hurt or diminish. In contrast, a witch's words reveal a heart of selfishness and manipulation. Her words are tools of control, meant to serve her interests at the expense of others. Rather than building up, she seeks to tear down. sowing seeds of doubt, fear, and confusion in the minds of those around her. The words of a witch are used to assert power, to shift the dynamics of the relationship in her favor, and to maintain control over the people in her life. She has little regard for the emotional and spiritual impact of her words, as long as she achieves her desired outcome. Her words have the potential to break relationships, leaving people emotionally scarred and distant from one another. The power of words cannot be overstated. Words shape the emotional and spiritual atmosphere of a home. A wife's words can create a sanctuary of peace, warmth, and unity, where love and growth flourish. A witch's words, however, create an environment of distrust, conflict, and pain. Understanding the impact of words is crucial for anyone in a relationship, as they have the power to either build or destroy. Amy? A wife who uses her words to uplift and encourage will build a strong, supportive, and loving home, while a witch who uses her words to control and manipulate will tear down everything she touches. Words matter, and the difference between a wife and a witch is evident in how they use them. Love is one of the most powerful forces in the world, and when understood in its proper context, it has the ability to transform lives, heal wounds, and create lasting impact. A wife's love is meant to be sacrificial, selfless, and pure. Her love is not simply an emotion or a fleeting feeling. It is an action that shapes the way she treats her husband and children, and it becomes the foundation of a thriving home. A wife's love is unconditional, built on a deep commitment to her family and her role as a partner in marriage. This kind of love is not about what she can gain or how she can be served, but about what she can give to those she loves. A wife loves because she understands that her role is to build, nurture, and strengthen, not to take, manipulate, or control. A wife's love is reflected in her actions, her attitude, and the way she invests in the relationships she cherishes. She loves by serving, by supporting her husband's dreams, by helping him become the man he is meant to be. Her love is a constant source of encouragement, offering her husband the strength and motivation to pursue his calling and responsibilities. She does not see her husband as someone to compete with, but as a partner to build with, and she loves him in a way that brings out the best in him. This love is not passive but active, as she works alongside him to build a future that reflects their shared values and dreams. Her love is also evident in the way she interacts with her children. She loves them by guiding them, teaching them, and providing them with a foundation of wisdom and understanding. A wife's love is protective, nurturing, and patient. It's the kind of love that sacrifices its own desires for the well-being and growth of others. She is willing to put the needs of her family above her own, sacrificing time, energy, and resources to ensure that her loved ones are well taken care of. This selfless love creates an environment where her children feel safe, valued, and supported, enabling them to thrive and grow into responsible, compassionate individuals. In contrast, a witch's love is rooted in selfishness and manipulation. While she may claim to love, her love is conditional and driven by what she can get from others. A witch's love is not sacrificial, but rather self-serving, used as a tool to gain power, control, or validation. She loves in a way that seeks to dominate, manipulate, and bend others to her will. Where the wife gives love freely, the witch demands love, and her love is often tied to expectations or conditions. If those conditions are not met, her love may quickly turn into resentment, bitterness, or anger. A witch's love is transactional, meaning it is only given when it serves her personal interests. She may love when it benefits her, but she is quick to withdraw that love if she feels that she is not getting what she wants in return. Her love is based on manipulation, not on genuine care or affection. She may use her love to keep others in line, to maintain control over a situation, or to get people to do what she wants. The witch's love is selfish in nature, and it rarely extends beyond her own needs or desires. This selfish form of love is destructive. It is not a love that builds up or strengthens. It is a love that seeks to tear down and control. A witch's love may feel suffocating to those on the receiving end, as it is rooted in expectation and demand rather than grace and freedom. She may withhold affection or use passive-aggressive tactics to manipulate the emotions of others. Her love is not a healing force, but a force that seeks to control and dominate. And this creates an unhealthy dynamic in her relationships. A witch's love also lacks the kind of nurturing and protective qualities that a wife's love possesses. While a wife will go to great lengths to ensure the well-being of her family, a witch will often prioritize her own desires and interests over those of others. She will manipulate situations to get what she wants, even if it means causing harm to those around her. A witch's love is not concerned with the emotional or physical needs of others. Instead, it focuses solely on her own needs and wants. She may claim to love, but her actions reveal a different truth, one of manipulation, control, and a lack of genuine concern for the well-being of others. A wife's love, on the other hand, is a love that builds. It creates an environment of safety, stability, and support. It encourages the growth of everyone in the family, nurturing the emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being of each person. This love brings out the best in those around her, encouraging her husband and children to pursue their dreams, reach their full potential, and live in harmony with one another. The wife's love reflects the selflessness and sacrificial nature of true love. She loves not because of what she gets in return, but because of the inherent goodness and beauty of giving love freely. The key difference between the love of a wife and the love of a witch lies in the heart's intention. A wife's love is pure and sacrificial, freely given to build and nurture the family. A witch's love, however, is rooted in selfishness, control, and manipulation, used to gain power and satisfy personal desires. Where the wife loves in a way that empowers others, the witch's love seeks to control and diminish. The love of a wife is marked by grace, kindness, and genuine concern for the well-being of others, while the love of a witch is self-centered, manipulative, and ultimately destructive. A wife's love is the foundation upon which a strong, stable, and loving home is built. It is the force that creates unity and harmony, that brings healing and growth. The love of a wife reflects the highest expression of God's love, a love that is unconditional, sacrificial, and always seeking the good of others. The witch's love, in contrast, is a counterfeit, a distorted version of love that is based on selfishness and control. True love, the love of a wife, is a powerful force for good in the world, and it is the key to building relationships that last. A wife is a source of strength and wisdom, meant to support and guide her husband in ways that elevate both of them as individuals and as partners. The wife's role is one of nurturing, leadership, and encouragement, and her strength is seen not just in moments of hardship, but in her daily choices to uplift, support, and inspire. The strength of a wife is rooted in a deep sense of responsibility, purpose, and love for her family. It is not merely physical endurance, but emotional resilience, spiritual fortitude, and intellectual clarity. She possesses the ability to face challenges with grace, to support her husband in his endeavors, and to lead with wisdom and discernment. A wife's strength is evident in the way she approaches the ups and downs of life. She may not always have all the answers, but she possesses the emotional intelligence to navigate through difficult circumstances. When things are tough, she does not crumble under pressure. Instead, she stands firm, supporting her family with her strength of character and determination. Her resilience is not based on her own might, but on a trust in her faith, a love for her family, and her desire to see her home thrive. Her strength is found in her ability to remain calm during storms, and to inspire those around her to do the same. Moreover, a wife's strength is not about domination or control, but about serving and empowering her husband. She helps him grow and be the best version of himself, not through force or manipulation, but through partnership and encouragement. She is the one who stands beside him, offering her counsel, wisdom, and support. A wife's strength lies in her understanding of her role in the marriage and her ability to inspire her husband to be a strong leader in the home, while also knowing when to stand back and let him lead. In contrast, a witch's strength is rooted in manipulation, fear, and control. Rather than building up, the witch seeks to dominate, using her strength to overpower, confuse, and weaken. Where the wife uses her strength for love, support, and guidance, the witch uses her power to manipulate and control the people around her, undermining their confidence and sense of self-worth. It is often the weight we think of as the meaning of King's Gospel when reading the witch-told tragedy. The witch's strength is self-serving, focused on advancing her own interests at the expense of others. It is through fear, deceit, and coercion that she asserts control, rather than through genuine partnership or empowerment. A wife is a woman of wisdom and discernment, whose ability to understand, judge, and respond to the needs of her family is a reflection of her inner strength. Her wisdom allows her to navigate complex situations with grace, making decisions that are in the best interest of her home and those she loves. She has an intuitive sense of what is needed in different circumstances, whether it's offering a listening ear, giving advice, or making important decisions. This wisdom is not simply based on experience or knowledge, but also on a deep understanding of her role and her commitment to her family's well-being. A wife's discernment is evident in the way she reads situations and understands the hearts of those around her. She knows when to speak and when to remain silent, when to encourage and when to challenge. Her wisdom guides her decisions not only in moments of crisis, but in the day-to-day moments that shape the atmosphere of her home. Her counsel is grounded in love, and she is quick to listen, slow to speak, and always seeking to understand before offering her perspective. Her wisdom allows her to maintain balance and harmony in her relationships, offering solutions that are fair and thoughtful. In contrast, a witch's wisdom is self-serving, manipulative, and often deceptive. While a wife uses her wisdom for the benefit of her family, the witch uses her insight to control and dominate. She is skilled at reading people, but her understanding is not used to support or nurture. It is used to manipulate and deceive. A witch will use her wisdom to manipulate others into doing her bidding, subtly turning situations in her favor and exerting control over those around her. Her discernment is clouded by selfish motives, and she uses her knowledge to create division, confusion, and discord. Where a wife's wisdom fosters unity, trust, and growth, a witch's wisdom seeks to break down relationships and create tension. The wife's ability to navigate the complexities of life is grounded in love, respect, and a desire for peace, while the witch's use of wisdom is rooted in a desire for power and control. A wife's discernment builds up, while the witch's builds walls. The difference lies in the heart behind the wisdom. The wife's wisdom flows from a place of love and service, while the witch's wisdom flows from a place of manipulation and self-interest. A wife's understanding of the importance of maintaining peace in her home is one of the cornerstones of her strength. She has a natural ability to create a peaceful atmosphere, not just by avoiding conflict, but by addressing issues in a way that promotes resolution, harmony, and unity. Her peaceful nature allows her to approach challenges calmly and thoughtfully, ensuring that both her husband and children feel heard, understood, and respected. A wife's peace is not based on passivity, but on a strong commitment to resolving differences with wisdom, grace, and a focus on what's best for her family. She knows that peace in the home requires both effort and intention, and she works tirelessly to cultivate an environment of love, understanding, and cooperation. Her ability to maintain peace extends beyond simply managing conflicts. A wife recognizes the power of her presence and words in shaping the emotional climate of her home. She strives to be a source of comfort, calm, and reassurance in times of stress. Whether it's offering a listening ear to her husband after a hard day, providing guidance to her children in times of confusion, or diffusing tension between family members, her influence fosters an environment of peace and unity. Her actions speak volumes as she sets a tone of respect and understanding, knowing that a peaceful home is the foundation upon which strong relationships are built. Nelle crete. On the other hand, a witch thrives in an environment of chaos and conflict. She is not interested in peace, but in creating division, confusion, and strife. A witch's presence can cause unrest, as she manipulates and stirs up discord between people to maintain control. Rather than working towards reconciliation, she seeks to create division, using her words and actions to pit others against one another. She feeds off of conflict, using it as a tool to assert dominance and power. Her tactics may include provoking arguments, fostering mistrust, or using emotional manipulation to control those around her. Where a wife seeks to heal and restore, a witch works to break down relationships and destroy the peace. A wife understands the importance of maintaining unity within her family, and she strives to be a peacemaker in every situation. In contrast, the witch's goal is to create division, chaos, and unrest, as she thrives on the disarray she creates. The difference between them lies in their approach. One seeks harmony, while the other seeks to control through conflict. A wife is called to serve her family with a heart full of selflessness, devotion, and love. Her sense of service is not burdensome, but is instead rooted in a deep desire to contribute to the well-being of her loved ones. She understands that her role is one of support and encouragement, and she embraces this with humility and grace. Serving her husband, her children, and her home is not something she does out of obligation or duty alone, but out of a genuine love and commitment to seeing those around her thrive. Whether it's preparing meals, caring for her children, or supporting her husband's endeavors, a wife serves with joy and a sense of purpose. Her service is not one of sacrifice at the expense of her own well-being, but is a balanced act of giving that nurtures both her family and herself. She recognizes that in order to serve effectively, she must maintain her own strength, health, and emotional well-being. A wife serves from a place of empowerment, knowing that her contributions strengthen the fabric of her family's life. Her service is built on mutual respect as she works alongside her husband and children to create a nurturing environment where everyone's needs are met. She is not the sole provider, but a key player in the collective effort to ensure that the home functions smoothly and lovingly. In contrast, a witch serves only herself. Her actions are not motivated by love or concern for others, but are instead driven by selfish desires, control, and manipulation. A witch may appear to be serving others, but her service is always with an ulterior motive, to maintain power, to dominate, or to manipulate the people around her. She serves only when it benefits her, and her actions are often self-serving, designed to gain influence or control. A witch's service is transactional. She expects something in return for every act of kindness she offers. This creates a distorted version of service where others are constantly indebted to her or caught in a web of manipulation. The key difference between a wife and a witch is in the heart behind their service. A wife's service is unconditional and rooted in love, whereas a witch's service is calculated and self-serving. The wife's goal is to build and nurture, while the witch's goal is to manipulate and control. In relationships, true service strengthens and uplifts, creating a supportive foundation for growth and unity. In contrast, the witch's service creates a toxic environment where power dynamics and control take precedence over genuine care for others. A wife is a woman of faith, grounded in the belief that her role within the family is divinely ordained. Her faith is not just about religious rituals, but about living out her beliefs in her everyday actions, thoughts, and relationships. She trusts that her family is a sacred responsibility and that her role is integral to their growth, success, and happiness. A wife's faith is reflected in her ability to face challenges with a sense of hope and optimism, knowing that her trust in a higher power provides her with the strength she needs to endure any storm. Her faith is a guiding force, helping her to make decisions, find purpose, and navigate the complexities of life with confidence. A wife's faith also shapes her perspective on marriage and family. She believes in the power of love, commitment, and unity, and she approaches her relationship with her husband with the understanding that their partnership is a lifelong journey of growth and mutual support. And she trusts in the importance of nurturing her children and raising them in an environment of love and faith, knowing that her example will have a lasting impact on their lives. Her faith fuels her desire to create a home that is built on trust, respect, and shared values. And she remains steadfast in her commitment to her family, even when faced with difficulties or uncertainties. In contrast, a witch's belief system is rooted in manipulation, control, and self-interest, while a wife's faith uplifts and strengthens those around her. The witch's beliefs are self-serving, designed to assert dominance and power. A witch uses her faith as a tool to manipulate others into doing her bidding, to create division, and to gain influence. Her faith is not about selflessness or nurturing, but about asserting control over others. It is not a faith built on love or trust, but on fear, coercion, and manipulation. Where a wife's faith fosters unity and growth, a witch's faith fosters division and confusion. The difference between the two lies in the foundation of their beliefs. A wife's faith is rooted in love, humility, and trust in a higher purpose, while a witch's faith is rooted in manipulation, control, and a desire for power. The wife's faith empowers her to serve, love, and build up her family, while the witch's faith manipulates and undermines the well-being of those around her. True faith is transformative, bringing peace, love, and unity, while the false faith of a witch brings discord, fear, and division. Thank you.